Kenneth is a 72-year-old Marine. He had been battling with CKD for 3 years when he received a call from his clinic. I got a call from the clinic one day, and it was the nurse who said, "I just want to let you know that your results came back and everything is normal." He didn't have CKD anymore. This is how he did it. Catherine here. I've been working with people suffering from kidney issues for more than 10 years now. You know, it's always a great joy for me when one of you guys contacts me to share their success story. And Kenneth's story, who contacted me on the comment section of YouTube, is especially interesting. He was diagnosed with CKD stage 3B, probably caused by diabetes and with high blood pressure. But instead of losing hope, he started to get informed. He made changes to his lifestyle. And he consulted a dietitian who gave him a new diet and just one supplement to control both his insulin resistance and help his kidneys. And this made a huge difference with his GFR. His numbers went from 43, stage 3B, to 62, stage 2, which is an incredible achievement. He has a GFR of 62 now, which will be great for someone his age, even for someone without any previous history of diabetes or CKD. But Kenneth had been battling with CKD for 3 years. So today's video is all about his journey and how he was able to go from stage 3B to stage 2 in just 6 months. Let's start now. Kenneth, can you tell us a little bit about your story? How did you find out you had kidney disease? Well, now, about 3 years ago, I got myself a surprise that I never saw coming. Found out I had CKD. I went in for a routine checkup and had some lab work done, and my doctor, a military physician, called me when the results of the lab came back. Now, in my experience, a call from the doc is never to invite you to a picnic. And he told me, "Well, Kenneth, I don't know if you knew this, but you have stage 3B kidney disease." Hearing that hit me like a ton of bricks. It sounded awful, but it was unbelievable because I didn't have any symptoms that I was aware of, and I always had my diabetes under control. Yes, that sounds really scary. Thank you for sharing with us. But you are better now, so tell us what you did to improve. I bet my public really wants to know. Well, first, I asked the military physician. I asked him straight up, "What can we do about this mess?" And he says to me, "Kenneth, there ain't a whole lot we can do, but we can do some things to sort of slow it down, and one of the things that we can do is giving you something for your pressure." He wasn't joking around either. Said my body was getting too acidic for his liking, and it was high time we did something about it. Prior to him saying that I was just taking a supplement to control my pressure, and for a while it worked. But then suddenly it didn't work anymore, and my pressure started creeping up. At that point, I had a choice. I could hold my stubborn position of not going on medication, or I could say, "Alright, I may have to make a sacrifice here." I chose to make the sacrifice, go on the hypertension medicine so that I could slow this process down. Until I found something that will be more in line with the way I like to take care of myself. I left this office that day and I thought there is something out there that will help me. I started searching on the internet, and that's how I found your YouTube channel, by the way. That's how I found out more about kidney disease, and I've understood that it's something that is treatable. I've understood that it's something that can be reversed. I got very excited about it. So, is this how you found out about the supplement that helped you? Well, no. Actually, following your advice, I ended up scheduling an appointment with a renal dietitian in my area, and he gave me my new diet. He told me to take the magnesium citrate for my diabetes. Okay, this is, well, surprising, but I'm glad you followed my advice and you were able to find the help you needed. And you think that made the difference? Yes, I think so. I kept taking the same medications I was taking 3 years ago. They didn't help until I found something more effective. And how did you find out that your new diet and supplementation was working? I got a call from the folks over at the military doc's place. Always a moment to hold your breath getting that call, because that's how they pass along the test results. You don't have to go into the clinic to get the results unless, of course, there's a problem. But so I got a call from the clinic one day, and it was the nurse who said, "I just want to let you know that your results came back and everything is normal." She didn't actually go into what the specific test results were, so I asked her, "What about my GFR?" She says, "Oh, that's 62. I said, "Oh, good. What about my creatinine?" "That's 1.05. I hung up that phone, and let me tell you, I couldn't help but let out a big ol' yes! Okay, this is amazing. Huge congratulations on your achievement. Can you tell us more about what changes you made in your diet and lifestyle?" Yes, he gave me a diet to manage my diabetes. He said it was high time I gave my food habits a good hard look. So I started swapping things out, began eating more fresh greens and natural stuff. He strongly suggested cutting out the meat and protein, anything loaded with sodium or sugar, and on top of that, he wanted me to drink more water. I won't lie, it was a bit of a challenge to get started, but then, as I followed through, I started losing some pounds and my GFR numbers began to look better. His advice was to steer clear of sweets, start my mornings with oatmeal, and incorporate avocados and olives into my lunch, perhaps with some bulgur. He even gave me a list of snacks, unsalted almonds, blueberries, and said I could eat as much cauliflower and cabbage as I wanted. And he suggested sprinkling flax seeds on my meals. The latest addition to my routine was starting on magnesium citrate. It's a different way of living, but I can't deny it's doing me good. Kenneth, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. What kind of diet can help someone with diabetes and kidney disease? Now, I really like some of the recommendations this dietitian gave him. For example, blueberries. These are packed with antioxidants, fiber, and vitamin C, but are low glycemic index, which means they won't spike sugar levels. Absolutely great. Oatmeal. I love when dietitians tell people to eat such a simple food, but so full of health benefits. Whole grains are high in fiber and can definitely help control sugar levels. They also contribute to a feeling of fullness, which can help maintain the right weight. Oatmeal also comes with a less known benefit. Oats are rich in beta-glucans, a powerful soluble fiber. Beta-glucan partially dissolves in water and forms a thick gel-like solution in your gut. Great to get rid of extra cholesterol and even some toxins while helping your gut health. However, oats may even help reduce sugar levels, and they are a great breakfast. And I see that his dietitian also told him to eat avocado. We know very well that if your potassium levels are not too high already, eating bananas, avocados, and potatoes will not make a difference about that. Avocados are rich in vitamin C, E, K, and B6, as well as riboflavin, niacin, folate, pantothenic acid, and magnesium. Avocados are also so rich in antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds. They can protect from oxidative damage, which is associated with the progression of diseases. Avocados are also very rich in a special type of fat known as medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs. And MCTs are so healthy for the kidneys, especially in case of diabetes, that you can also get them in oil form to supplement your diet. Another high-fat food that Kenneth mentioned are olives. Maybe not the easiest to find fresh, but if you can find them, olives are amazing. Just like olive oil, they have been shown to really help with insulin sensitivity. They have a substance called oleuropein, which can help control your blood sugar levels after meals, especially if you have diabetes or insulin resistance. Yes, olives are great, just like olive oil, but with way less calories. Not to mention their incredible anti-inflammatory effect. Now, his doctor even recommended flax seeds. I love these small seeds. They actually come with an incredible benefit. Flax seeds are incredibly anti-inflammatory, and this property can really help. Eating flaxseed regularly protects the kidneys, especially in those with inflammatory kidney disease. There are studies showing that flaxseed can improve GFR in this case, thanks to its impressive anti-inflammatory properties. And guys, I bet adding these foods can be beneficial for anyone, but please consult your nephrologist or your dietitian before making any change to your diet. However, this is not all. Kenneth also mentioned one supplement that, according to his dietitian, has made a huge difference. This is a special type of magnesium that some nephrologists are starting to recommend, which is called magnesium citrate. Question: what's so special about magnesium citrate? Magnesium citrate supplementation could potentially have significant benefits for those with kidney issues for 3 reasons. First of all, there is vascular calcification, a common complication of CKD. This is linked to magnesium deficiency, and anything that can help it is great. Keep in mind that having low magnesium can cause a cascade of problems, including a possible worsening in phosphorus levels and even in parathyroid hormone levels. Second, taking magnesium may be very useful for insulin resistance. Studies are linking magnesium deficiency, again very common especially in people with diabetes, to insulin resistance. It has also been observed that correcting magnesium levels improve insulin sensitivity and metabolic control in people with diabetes. And it's not all. Magnesium citrate helps with metabolic acidosis, and that could be a huge help for people with kidney problems. Why is metabolic acidosis so important? Metabolic acidosis is a complication of kidney disease, especially common in those with diabetes, that's also known to make kidney disease progress faster. Managing body acidity, a job the kidneys are tasked to do, is a central point in managing kidney disease. The plant-based diet works also because it's way less acid-forming than a regular Western diet. But for many patients, the diet isn't enough. Their body are still too acidic and they are usually given sodium bicarbonate. Now, magnesium citrate may be also considered for the purpose of controlling metabolic acidosis. So, we could consider it a sodium-free alternative to sodium bicarbonate. So, in my opinion, his dietitian discovered that they could have solved 2 problems with only one supplement: magnesium deficiency and metabolic acidosis, which could be amazing because, as we have seen, correcting these 2 issues can make a huge difference. Now guys, I also want to let you know that while magnesium citrate seems to have really helped Kenneth, it's not a magic pill. And while magnesium is usually safe, I would recommend to work with your nephrologist and have a red cell magnesium test to see what your magnesium levels are. As long as you don't have issues with magnesium levels, you shouldn't have problems with supplementing it. Okay guys, if you want to know more about how to manage diabetes, diabetes is the #1 cause of kidney problems in the world. For many people, beating diabetes means beating kidney disease. What not everyone knows is that diabetes can go into remission even in people who had it for 11 years or more. Yes, with the goal of reversing diabetes and protecting our kidneys, today we will see 5 ways to beat this disease. During the last few years, there have been huge changes in the way type 2 diabetes, or T2D in short, is managed. Today, we will see the most up-to-date info about strategies, tips, supplements, and vitamins. And by the way, what I will be discussing today is going to be useful for everyone, including those without T2D. So let's start. Question: what changed about T2D management? It was previously believed that those who suffered from T2D for 6 years or more couldn't go into remission. It was something everyone believed, okay? If you had diabetes for 6 years or more, there was no going back. And guess what? Science proved that notion wrong. Most recent research proves that even patients who had type 2 diabetes for 11 years can reverse it. And there are 5 ways to help you achieve the goal of sending T2D into remission. Don't miss our number 1 in particular, because that's the fastest way in the world to cut your proteinuria in half while losing weight without diet or exercise. Before that, there is a secret vitamin that has been proven extremely useful for those who want to lower their glucose levels. This nutrient was proven able to cut your glucose levels by a whopping 31.5 milligrams per DL in just 3 months. This will get many people really close to the target of getting T2D into remission. Now, this vitamin is especially interesting because it protects the kidneys from metabolic syndrome and hypertension while helping you lose weight. It also has antioxidant properties that fight the damaging effects of free radicals in the body, not to mention that it acts as a natural way to reduce food cravings and appetite. I'm talking about inositol, or vitamin B8. Inositol has several important functions in the body, including controlling sugar and insulin levels, fat deposition, and hypertension. This works because it has a structure similar to that of sugar, but it's no caloric. In the body, it actually improves insulin absorption, which is basically saying that it fights T2D. An amazing little nutrient! But while you can get some inositol from foods such as some fruits, beans, grains, and nuts, many people seem to have too low levels of it. This is a problem, especially for those with kidney issues. You see, inositol is a truly underestimated nutrient. You are not gonna find it in multivitamins, and most people don't even know that it exists. It is not even considered a vitamin anymore. And the reason why inositol is no more a vitamin is because the kidneys actually produce some of it. However, for many people, only relying on what the body makes is not enough. Having low levels of inositol may cause weakness, lethargy, skin problems, insomnia, but also mental health problems, and hyperlipidemia. Hyperlipidemia means the body accumulates too many fats, such as cholesterol and triglycerides. This may cause of worsened T2D and other metabolic conditions. It's clear that supplementing this nutrient may be very helpful for T2D or CRF. As I was saying, the kidneys produce some inositol. With CRF, natural production may decline. Question: what foods can you eat to get more inositol? Grain bread is one of the best sources. Stone ground whole grain bread contains up to 300 milligrams of inositol in just one slice of bread, and that's a lot. Just also consider that this type of bread is pretty high in phosphorus before adding it to your diet. A better option may be cantaloupe, a very healthy fruit, even if a bit rich in potassium. Other great sources of inositol include almonds, but also beans, peas, and citrus fruits. Now, even if all these foods are good for you, they won't give you the same amount of inositol that was used to treat T2D in literature. So, if you are really interested in the insulin mimetic properties of inositol, it will be better to also consider a supplement. Actually, research shows that supplementing inositol in people with T2D can lower glucose levels by 31.5 milligrams per DL in just 3 months. In this study, HbA1c of the participants went from 8.6% down to 7.7%. Which is a huge improvement. In short, inositol can be used to greatly improve insulin sensitivity in people with T2D. It can lower sugar levels by 31.5 milligrams per DL. To achieve this, myo-inositol 550 milligrams and D-chiro-inositol 13.8 milligrams with folic acid 400 micrograms was supplemented twice a day for 3 months. You can easily find brands that combine the two forms of inositol with folic acid to give you best results on Amazon or other supplement stores. Okay guys, our next entry is a supplement that many experts are starting to consider the most powerful natural molecule in the world. It is often compared to metformin in terms of results. Before that, a very important question. Can you really reverse T2D? The concept of type 2 diabetes remission, which is getting increasing attention from researchers and clinicians, also goes by other names, including diabetes reversal or resolution. But a consensus of experts led by the ADA last year agreed on the term remission as being most accurate. Yes, while most clinicians are reluctant to consider T2D reversible, science has proven that completely reversing T2D is possible for at least 11 years after the onset of the condition. So, this is the big picture when it comes to dealing with CKD. The goal we should focus on is getting our pressure and sugar levels as close as possible to the right values. With T2D, there are two values we should care about the most. First value is fasting sugar. The ideal number is below 100 mg per dl. And also HbA1c level. HbA1c is probably the main markers of T2D severity. Remember that remission from T2D happens when your HbA1c remains below 6.5% for at least 3 months without medications. And while not everyone will be able to completely reverse their T2D, the closer you can get to this, the better. But you can be 100% sure that if you put your health first and if you do your best to get better, you are going to achieve a result. You are going to be the healthiest version of yourself. I've previously mentioned a study that changed the way we look at T2D forever. It proved that it is possible in people who had T2D for more than 6 years to reverse it. And it took just 3 months for 17 participants of this study to achieve what was previously believed impossible. Now, these 17 participants who went into remission were monitored for the following 12 months and only one of them relapsed. And that's also amazing, by the way. What they use to achieve this is a simple dietary intervention: intermittent fasting. Today, intermittent fasting seems to be very popular as a way to lose weight and improving our metabolic parameters. This is a diet I've personally used and it's pretty easy to follow because it's a way to cut your caloric intake without altering your macros, the percentage of nutrients you get from carbs, fats, and protein. And when we think that for these 17 former diabetes sufferers, following this diet was all it took to become diabetes-free, well, you can understand why many people believe this diet is great. And I personally really love intermittent fasting as a way to lose weight. And while it definitely works, it's important to understand that intermittent fasting is very different from just skipping breakfast. So if you want to know more about how these 17 people got out of T2D just with one dietary intervention, but obviously not everyone likes dieting. Hey, I perfectly get it. Dieting is not fun at all. This is why some pharmaceutical companies come up with a recently approved medication that's capable of making people lose huge amounts of weight without any dieting. Overweight people have been observed losing 15% to 18% of their body weight during clinical trials, just thanks to a once-a-week injection. And it's not just that. This recently approved medication does also improve GFR and proteinuria, the two main markers of kidney function. More about this in a moment. Before that, a very important question. If you have T2D, should you use metformin or berberine? Clinicians commonly prescribe metformin, a completely synthetic compound in the treatment of T2D. It's a very effective molecule, by the way. Metformin is commonly used for T2D and its main use is to lower HbA1c, but it can also assist in weight loss. Berberine, on the other hand, is what many experts consider the most powerful supplement in existence, and not just for T2D. Berberine is completely natural and it has many of the same properties of metformin. This is a natural compound found in barberry and other plants, and it's widely used as a supplement. It may lower fasting and post-meal glucose levels significantly, and it can also help with cholesterol and hypertension. Berberine affects the body at the molecular level. Berberine is also one of the few natural weight loss pills that actually work as intended. In a study on obese individuals, those taking berberine went from obese to overweight in just 3 months. They also lost belly fat and improved many other markers. Yes, berberine can really make a difference when it comes to protecting the kidneys, and it's especially powerful against T2D. What not many people know is that some clinicians are starting to consider berberine a better alternative to metformin as the first line for T2D. Incredible! This is because, according to studies, berberine may reduce fasting and post-meal glucose levels by more than 30%, which is frankly amazing for a 100% natural supplement. Now guys, berberine is so powerful it can actually interfere with some of the medications you may be taking. So be sure to use this remedy in combination with your personal journal. Take note of all your values and see if they improve. Then report to your primary healthcare provider so they can adjust your plan if needed. And maybe see if they can help you replace metformin with this safer natural remedy. Almost time for our number 1. Before that, a few tips that are proven to really make a difference in managing T2D. Always stay hydrated. Drinking enough water protects the body in several ways, and it's especially important for people with T2D. The kidneys need plenty of water to flush out excess sugar through urine, so grab a glass of water now! And also, choose foods with a low glycemic index. Diet is key to reverse T2D, as we have seen, and focusing on low glycemic index foods is key to avoid insulin spikes. While foods such as vegetables, high-fat foods are always considered safe, some people will tell you to completely avoid fruits if you have T2D. That's misinformation. Even the ADA says that fruit is good for you, especially in moderation, and especially low glycemic fruits such as pears, apples, oranges, and berries. And also, always monitor your sugar levels. Testing your sugar levels at home with a portable meter is going to help both keeping your levels under control and improving. Fact: what gets measured gets managed, especially if you use a health journal to keep track of your progress. Spices are powerful tools, especially when it comes to controlling sugar levels. Fenugreek seed, for example, can make a huge difference with insulin sensitivity. Another spice you can incorporate into your diet daily to get the best results is cinnamon. This spice has also been shown to help lower sugar levels, improve insulin sensitivity, and reduce HbA1c levels. Cinnamon can be added to almost any food or drink to increase the flavor and add a little kick. And also, add more fiber to your meals. Both fiber and fats are proven to slow down the absorption of sugar, protecting from a spike. But while fats are rich in calories, fiber contains none. And a good way to increase fiber consumption is taking a supplement called psyllium husk right before the main meals. Last tip: lose weight if you need to. Berberine can also help you doing this. As I was saying, berberine has one superpower that probably no other natural compound has. It can make people lose weight pretty reliably. I mean, clearly, not everyone with T2D needs to lose weight, but some do. Now, the thing is, losing weight seems to be the most effective strategy there is to control T2D. This said, there are today approved medications that are capable of making people lose huge amounts of weight without any dieting. One in particular also seems to be especially useful for people with CRF. And I'm talking about number 1, GLP-1 agonists. So yeah, I've kept the best for last. There is a lot of buzz on social media surrounding these new GLP-1 agonists today, and I believe the hype is deserved. Imagine being able to lose weight fast, safely, and without any extra dieting or exercise. And with just one injection per week. Yes, that's what these molecules are promising. But do they really work against diabetes and CRF? Okay guys, you may already know that this new class of pharmaceuticals do work against obesity. They are especially recommended in people with diabetes and in those who need to lose weight. And while there are various molecules that have been approved by the FDA as a way to lose weight, the most interesting for us is semaglutide. It's the most tested in people that also have kidney issues, and well, It works! Overweight people have been observed losing 15% to 18% of their body weight during clinical trials just thanks to a single weekly injection. This also came with a huge drop in proteinuria, more than 50% in those with kidney issues. Now, this is really significant because it means their GFR is going to decline much slower now that their proteinuria is half that's what it previously was. You see, proteinuria is a predictor of GFR slope. The lower the proteinuria, the slower the decline. But losing all that weight in someone who was previously obese also meant that several other markers went back into the correct range. HbA1c, sugar levels, cholesterol, and more. Yes, this is a very interesting news for a lot of people. So, if you want to know more about Ozempic, the most used GLP-1 agonist in those with kidney issues, my video up here is for you. Nephrologists are starting people with CRF on Ozempic, a weight loss medicine to help them lowering their creatinine levels and reversing the decline of GFR. Science confirms that an improvement in GFR may be possible when taking Ozempic. Along with a huge decrease in proteinuria, cholesterol level, sugar level, and body weight. So today we talk about all these new medicines that can be used to effectively treat one of the most serious and common causes of kidney damage, obesity. Yes, today there are pharmaceuticals that does exactly that. Make you lose 18% or even more of your body weight in just a few months. But can they really help lowering creatinine levels? Let's find out! Question: what pharmaceuticals are approved by the FDA for weight control? There are currently 5 molecules approved by the FDA. Most interesting for us are liraglutide and semaglutide. Semaglutide in particular, or Ozempic, is a GLP-1 agonist and is what we are interested in today. It's a once-a-week injection that's approved for weight loss and that was also tested in people with T2D and CRF. Notice that there are other forms of the medicine that can be taken orally, but they have been studied less than Ozempic. And since the aim of today's video is to see if it works, if it can be used to lower your creatinine levels, I want to focus on the most studied form. So why is Ozempic useful for us? Does it just make you lose weight or does it also lower your creatinine levels? To understand that, we need to answer one question. Can you lower your creatinine levels by losing weight? Short answer is yes, if you are overweight. Long answer is yes, but you also need to take into account other factors such as your GFR. More about this in a moment. What I need to make clear before we move on is that being overweight do cause kidney damage. That's not my opinion. That's scientific consensus. I will read from a scientific paper published on a peer-reviewed journal now. Since obesity is intimately linked to diabetes and hypertension and is linked to hemodynamic, structural, and histological renal alterations, it has been identified as one of the major causes of CKD. So again, that's not me saying that. It's scientific consensus about the issue. And I know that there are people that will be mad at me for saying that.
Please don't be mad at me.
Many people will tell you that you can be healthy at any weight. And I respect that. But I also have to tell you that there is scientific consensus about the damage being overweight does to the kidneys. So make your own deductions and conclusions. I am extremely against any type of discrimination, obviously, but probably your nephrologist won't be as tactful about this issue as I am. What most nephrologists will tell you is that if you are overweight or obese, losing extra weight will definitely help you. So that got the short answer, which is yes, if you want to lower your creatinine and you need to lose weight, do it. But there is a long answer too. As I was saying, none of the medicines currently approved for weight loss are also approved for stage 5 CRF. Ozempic, the most tested one, was only tested in people with a GFR of 15 or more. But on the other hand, there are nephrologists giving Ozempic to people in stage 5 who need to lose weight in order to get on the transplant list. So we will definitely have more data about this issue in the future. In short, if you are in stage 2, 3 or 4 and you need to lose weight, talk with your nephrologist about GLP-1 agonists, even if you don't have T2D. And with that out of the way, question: how do GLP-1 agonists work? GLP-1 agonists work by reducing the appetite and feelings of hunger. People taking this reportedly markedly less appetite, and they eat less. Ozempic and the other GLP-1 agonists slow the movement of food from the stomach into the small intestine, making people feel full for longer. Last, they also stimulate the body to produce more insulin, which in turn lowers sugar levels, also leading to weight loss. It basically tricks the brain into thinking we are full and dials down appetite, so we eat less. Here's what a formerly obese person taking Ozempic said about her experience. At first, I felt like I've been abducted by aliens. For the first time in my life, I could go into a cafe, see some caramel shortbread, and not have my body screaming, "I need one." Instead, it was, "I don't feel hungry." My body was saying, "You don't want it." It wasn't me using willpower. She says about the experience. So question, what results can you expect in terms of weight loss? Weight loss can vary depending on which GLP-1 is used and obviously on body weight. However, the results are pretty solid with this. On average, people who were obese lost about 15% of their body weight when taking semaglutide alongside healthy lifestyle advice in a trial. In the same study, people only making similar lifestyle changes without semaglutide only lost 2.4% of their body weight, which is a huge difference. It's worth mentioning that people in these studies were also found to have other major benefits from semaglutide. Research has found that GLP-1 agonists may lower the risk of heart disease, heart failure, and stroke. People taking this have seen their pressure and cholesterol levels improve too, undoubtedly due to weight loss. And what about people with kidney disease? What kind of result can they expect? Question: what results can you expect in terms of GFR improvement? In the most recent study on semaglutide, people in stage 3 to 5 had, on average, a 2.2 points improvement in GFR over the course of 1 year. Now, test subjects in this study had all T2D and a GFR higher than 15 but less than 60. An improvement of 2.2 points in GFR may not seem so impressive, but if you consider that it was achieved with just 1 injection per week of a single medicine, well, it is impressive.
You're gonna like it.
Even better, participants had a very significant improvement in proteinuria. We are talking about a 53% decrease in albumin to creatinine ratio here, which is the main test to measure proteinuria. They also decreased their HbA1c, lost weight obviously, and significantly lowered their blood pressure and cholesterol levels. So a pretty amazing result if you ask me. There are other trials going on today to tell us more about this, however. A large phase 3 study on people with CRF and T2D was started in 2019. It involves 3,508 participants with a GFR higher than 25 and lower than 75. Thanks to this study, we will have even better data about semaglutide in kidney disease next year, in 2024. We will also have more info in the future about the possibility for those without T2D of using this pharmaceutical. Question: is Ozempic the same as Farxiga? No, Ozempic is not the same as Farxiga. Ozempic is a GLP-1 agonist, while Farxiga is a SGLT2 inhibitor. They have similarities. They both help with T2D. They both help with proteinuria. They both can be used to control sugar levels. But while Farxiga can make you lose weight, it isn't approved by the FDA for that. What Farxiga is approved for is to help people with CRF both with and without T2D. This is why it's particularly interesting for us. Now guys, if you want to know more about Farxiga, I made a video about it. It's up here. Are there known unwanted effects from taking Ozempic? More common include nausea, vomiting, intestinal problems. This is especially common in those also taking another medication to control sugar levels. There are also reports of people losing GFR and even experiencing AKI due to the use of Ozempic. This is why, when you are started on a GLP-1 agonist, your nephrologist is supposed to monitor your GFR more often. Another recommendation is to always maintain very good hydration when taking a GLP-1 agonist. Unwanted effects are more serious and more common in those who are not sufficiently hydrated. Question: are there natural alternatives to Ozempic? Yes, there are a few natural supplements that can help you lose weight and control T2D. None has the same dramatic effect Ozempic or other GLP-1 agonists have, obviously. But natural supplements also don't have serious unwanted effects. Most effective, in my opinion, is berberine. While berberine is not a magic weight loss pill, it may really help. Studies have shown that people taking it may lower their creatinine and their body weight in a pretty safe and effective way. If you want to know more, my video about berberine is up here. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless.